What up, Facebook? What up, world? It's your girl, Jazzy Red. We here with another week of But Have You Tried It For Yourself? I hope you all had a good week. You know, we're already in the month of April. Time is flying by. We done already had Easter. Things been going crazy. I hope y'all missed us, you know what I'm saying, past couple of weeks because we haven't been live with you guys. But we do have a fire topic today. I do have a couple of friends with me. So we're going to have a really good show. So I hope y'all are ready. All right. We're going to go ahead and introduce our ladies because they're going to be talking with us the whole show. So, of course, you have me, Jazzy Red, and we have authoress. She's the authoress, y'all. Authoress. We have Krishana Jackson.
Hello.
And then we also have my homie with the skillets. This is Joyce Williams.
Hey.
Can I get your Joyce? There you go. Ah. All right, and we're known as the Queens of Comedy. Not just one. At the church, they call us the Queens of Comedy, y'all. But then, of course, we have our co-host whenever she does come to the table. We have Yellow Baby. She's also back in the building this week, guys. So I hope you guys are ready for today's show. So how was everybody's week?
It was
Good.
a week.
It was good.
Just good?
It was really good.
Yeah.
Really, what happened? What happened in your house this week?
Well, it wasn't my house per se, it was on my job. I got a new shift on my job, so now I'm no longer on that evening shift. You know, I'm on the morning shift.
Won't he do it? Won't he
Yes,
do
he
it?
will. Yes, he
Won't he will? How about you? How was your week?
My week was awesome, actually. I got a lot of writing done on my third installment of my book. However, I'm back at work twice a week, in the building, but.
So let's talk about that book while we on the subject, because us authoresses, we got to talk. But no, so the first book that you have, let's go ahead and talk about that one. Let's talk about the first one.
Okay, yeah.
What was the inspiration of writing that book?
The first book, it actually was half truth, half embellishments, but it was something that I had always had a passion to do was write. So we were in a pandemic, nothing better than to just do it. Yeah. So that's when I set out on my first installment of The Lives We Live, and because we all live a lie in one way or another at one point in time. So, we all told a lie to that may wasn't, up to standard, but sometimes we tell ourselves the more lies we tell ourselves than we tell anybody else.
Right.
So, sometimes we try to live it until it becomes true, but in the end, it's still a lie.
Right. So, tell us about the characters that are in your book.
Well, the main character of the first book is Kennedy, which she is a 20-year-old single mom, thinks she has it all figured out and know exactly what type of man she's looking for. She really hasn't really experienced love. She thinks she knows what love is because she's been in love once, or she thinks she's been in love once. But, she's a 20-year-old know-it-all, but don't know nothing, and gets herself caught up in this love triangle to where she thinks she's making the right decision or picking the right person, per se, and it turns out to be, not the person that of her dreams, but, something else, something far worse.
So, and does this same storyline carry on into the second book?
Yeah, it carries on, but it deals a lot with, I'll say, a lot of physical abuse, mental abuse, verbal abuse. It deals with that a lot. So it does hit on a lot of those main topics of where sometimes we don't even know we're being abused, but we are, even though it's not physical, emotional, verbal is also abuse, and it can be as worse as actually it's on the same level as physical abuse because those scars don't heal.
Right. All right. And so you say you're working on the third one. So is this the trilogy to the first two?
It is the trilogy, but this installment is told by the point of view of the children. They're all grown up. Sometimes we don't know how much that our mess affect our children, but it really does, and it actually comes out in the third installment of how much, of how bad or how their mess carried on to the children to where they're kind of doing some generational things that, curses that need to be broken in the third book.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. So y'all can actually purchase her books on Amazon.
Yes.
The Lives We Live. There's part 2, and part 3 is coming. And her name is Krishana Jackson. You can also follow her on Facebook at Krishana Jackson. Yeah, y'all check out the book. I actually purchased my books on Amazon as well. Very good books. If y'all were into Zane or Terry McMillan. Why are you looking at that? I'm just. Did you read any of those authors back in the day when everybody was reading? It kind of made me feel that feel when I first read her book. I was diving right in it. I probably finished it in like 2 or 3 days because it was like real quick and easy to read. So let's talk about Vegas. Hey, hello, how are you? Where are you? There she goes.
Hey. Well, everybody know I celebrated my birthday Easter weekend. My birthday actually fell on Easter Sunday. And I was in Vegas for the first time, finally made it to Vegas.
Yeah. For the first time.
Oh, okay. It was really nice. I overbooked myself, so next time I go, I'm not making any plans to just go.
I said, how was Vegas? And all she had to talk about was overbooking.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
No, baby, she put it all on Facebook. She did not leave it in Vegas. She made sure everybody knew what was happening in Vegas. But no, I don't think so. We got a storyline. We was like, you put enough for us to put pieces together. It's like, see, I know what she's doing right now. Right now. But yeah, so everybody had a good week, which is good. Lady Joyce, you just gonna stick with it was good. You're not gonna tell us what went down. I know something funny happened at your house this week.
It's some X-rated stuff I can't talk about.
Wait a minute. You know what? This is not the week for that.
Oh.
We'll bring her back
Next
when
week.
we do 50 Shades. Look, we know who to bring for the BDSM conversation.
I did 60.
Wait a minute. What? Okay, so let's go ahead and today's topic is very juicy, but it's very real because a lot of us make instinct decisions in life. The idea of this conversation came up actually from a Facebook post, which was just on fire. When I seen it, I couldn't even restrict my fingers. I was like, yeah, I got to comment on there. So it was real hot. Do you mind pulling up the post? So that we can kind of go over the comments a little bit, and then we're going to chime in, give our points of view. Everybody here, different age groups, different aspects of life. So what we're about to go into, guys, I think you guys are really going to enjoy it because it kind of gives everybody a chance to live in the situation from their own personal standpoint. That's the problem. A lot of people don't have an outlet, and they be going through things and thinking things, and they don't have nobody to talk to. So I think this is a perfect opportunity. She gonna say she can't find.
I'm finding it right now. It's spinning.
Oh, the signal. Okay, so let's talk about love.
There we go.
You got it? Okay. So what was the question? What was your post?
So it said, why is it that some people feel like a significant other loves you more or less based on your body size? Do you love your parents if they're smaller or bigger? Your kids? Your pastor? Then why do you think that a marriage or committed relationship is different? If that person truly loves you, size isn't a factor. Yes, there are some benefits to weight loss, but holding on to a relationship shouldn't be one of them.
Absolutely. All right, so this is good. So her post is actually talking about the size of a person, whether it be the woman or the man. People change over the years. And so, I might have been a Coke bottle when we first got together. Right. Now I'm a can of biscuits. You know what I'm saying? But you still got to love everything that's connected together with them biscuits. You know what I'm saying? So that's been part of the problem. A lot of people image. You know what I'm saying? And I've actually heard it on Steve Harvey. I've seen it on a couple of talk shows as well, where there have been some vain men that were very stern on, yeah, she gained too much weight, or she's not attractive, she's let herself go, she doesn't do this anymore, she doesn't do that. I can go on and on. Men don't, and to me, those men don't understand that women's bodies change. You know what I'm saying? When they do carry a baby and they done had something sitting on top of their uterus for 9 months and they bladder, their body doesn't sit the same. Your hormones. Let's talk about hormones. They don't really understand the hormone challenges that we deal with, and that causes weight gain as well. It could not. I watch so many people sit around and deprive themselves of food and starve themselves of food because they feel like that's the way to lose weight. They feel like that is what's gonna help me get smaller, and it doesn't. Sometimes it's a chemical imbalance. Sometimes, like I said, it's hormonal things that cause people to retain weight or to retain fat or to retain water or whatever it is in their bodies. Stress. Jack, the man don't even realize you talking crazy to me. You the reason why I'm gaining this weight. Or you talking about my head and why I'm wearing wigs, but you the reason why my hair is falling out. So, I don't believe that men really understand women anymore. Like back in the day, mothers used to teach their sons about a woman. You know what I'm saying? And
Yes.
son, a woman's gonna be this way, a woman's gonna be this way. And so some men are really blind, and all they know about a woman is what they hear on the radio, or what they see on TV, or what they see on YouTube. So they're not really getting the full.
Educated.
They're fully educated on the
Old school
woman.
education.
Yes, and I feel like that's a damper because in that you learn respect for a woman because a woman is not, she's not easy. You know what I'm saying? Nothing about a woman is easy. Is that song? I'm complicated. Yeah, very much so. But I'm all woman. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot to offer once you get to know the beauty in it. We can't control some things. Like we put on some weight. Some things you can control. I won't say let go after having kids or getting married. Right? Girl, comb your hair.
Yes. Okay, you can comb your hair.
Put on some clothes. Don't always let them see you.
bras.
And tights. Yes. Well, I don't know. We at the house. That's
Right.
mine.
When they go to the store, they walk over there.
Yeah, it's not that.
Take that bunnet off.
But it gets kind of hard. It really depends on your stress level and your help, your assistance. If your husband is actively helping you with the children, then yeah, I got time. But if I'm doing it all by myself, even though he may be, maintaining the financial stability of the household,
But
but
you're
that
working.
household inside that house, that is more stressful than going outside the house to work. Because you get to a point where you don't have any support to where you don't feel like you should comb your hair. You don't feel like you should, sometimes I don't feel like bathing this week. Because you have the children, you got to make sure they have everything they take care of. You got to do homework, you got to, and in talking to my daughter, she's a full-time, my oldest daughter, she's a full-time worker, but she said, and lately, she's quit her job actually. And she stated to me, I'd rather work, even though all of her children are in school, she said, I'd rather go to work than stay home and
be a
deal with
mom.
my children. She said, because I just realized I don't like them. and I said, well, that's exactly what I would have been saying about them the whole time I've been raising them, that I never liked them. So, but you learn to, get along.
You
with
appreciate your peace and
I
when you away
appreciate
from
my
your
kids, but I don't like them.
Yeah.
They're all adults. So I can tell them now, yeah, I really never liked y'all. So.
But I agree with that to a certain degree. But there was one part you said. What did you say? You said it was the hormones. You started talking about your kids. Now I'm just thinking about
the stress level, because the support system.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say about cleaning up yourself. If you're not doing it because you want a man to smell good, some things you have to do for yourself. I know it's reality that some people get in the phone, and you just don't want to do nothing. But don't stay there. You know what I'm saying? Because you started talking about days, and I was trying to remember to say, don't get stuck in those positions. Because I know it's easy to get there. I know it's easy for us to find a way to have pity parties and and just be like, well, nobody loves me. We get in Eeyore mode. Nobody cares. Nobody loves me. Nobody, and we have to learn how to love ourselves first. You know what I'm saying? How can we try to love somebody else or demand that somebody love us and we don't even love us?
That comes from our childhood when
Yeah.
you didn't have a mom or didn't have a dad to show you that love. So now you don't know how to love somebody else. And then that goes back to about healthy eating and stuff, you have that
Mhm.
relationship, that
Emotional.
unhealthy relationship with food. So
Emotional
it's like,
eating.
okay,
Uh-huh.
exactly, I'm an emotional
Binging.
eater. So then now you're putting on weight because you're an emotional eater. You don't know how to love yourself. You don't think anybody else loves you.
Right.
You can't output that love. So it's just, it starts with the childhood. It really
Yeah.
does. So
Oh,
it's a
that's
mental
deep.
thing that you
Yeah.
have to overcome. Like you were saying about abuse. Abuse is mental,
Yeah.
and it
Oh,
affects
yeah.
your mentality.
Yes.
So
I
you
totally
have
agree.
to heal mentally before you can go on to the next relationship.
Exactly.
I totally agree.
Yeah, and you can't, and if you're not healthy mentally, nothing else. I mean, you can't get into. You can't. Your body is not going to respond to anything you do because in your mind, in the back of your mind, even though you're telling yourself or you're trying to get up until you deal with those past issues of why you're in
Right.
this situation, it's just a cycle.
Right.
It keeps happening. It's go over and over again, and then that's when you get into the relationships to where you start accepting things.
Right.
Start saying, you know what, it's okay. He may not have meant that.
Before you go there, I was gonna dive in there. Don't go there yet. Don't go there yet, because that's actually where I was gonna dive into talking about the actual love and lust.
Yeah.
I think that how we love starts as a kid. It's something that we learn from our household, and the reason why I've always felt that way is because I look at myself, for example. I grew up in a two-parent home. My parents were married for 30 years, 31 years, and my father passed away. So to me, I experienced love, unconditional love in a home because I watched a marriage. I watched them go through things. My mother and father have 8 kids together, and so I watched it. I just watched a lot of things happen, and it made me desire those same things. Like even when I wanted to operate my own home, I'm mimicking what I saw at home.
Right.
How my mom balanced the checkbook, and she would sit out on her bed at night and lay out all the bills, and what he bringing home, she's calculating, so she knows how to run her household, and she's going to get groceries, and she's calculating this. My mama would take a calculator to the grocery store because she was on her money to the T that much. But then my dad would go to work. He's the disciplinarian. You know what I'm saying? So that's the kind of same thing I'm looking for in my spouse. Okay, you supposed to run the kids. I shouldn't have to raise my voice. My mother never raised her voice to us. She might have grabbed us by the shirt, but that was just all she did. She never whooped us or anything. My father was always the disciplinarian. She never, only thing she would say is, I'm going to tell your father. We knew then we was in trouble. Like, there was nothing else. He made sure we respected her. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was hands down. If you went against her, all hell finna break loose. So I kind of look for that same heart back. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, that's old school. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things a woman shouldn't have to do. So in a love aspect, if there's not love being displayed in the home, that can very much so carry on into women when they starting to date. You know what I'm saying? Because they're looking for their absence. They're looking for the things that they didn't have at home, or what they were desiring that they couldn't retain. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about love. Let's talk about lust. Some of the questions that I asked was, are you one of the people that fake it till you take it? Okay? What do I mean by do you fake it till you take it? Are you one of them people that fake like you love somebody? Fake like you're feeling them? You do everything, go through the motions, and do everything that you need to do until you get what you want, and you take it, and then you go. So are you faking the funk? You know what I'm saying? This could even be men or women. Some women will play their role until he drops a couple of coins, and then they go on about their business. There's some women who play their role until they have sex with a man, and then they gone. It's not always the man. But then we have men that have mastered this game like chess, okay? And they've really learned how to
Manipulate people.
I wasn't even going to say manipulate. But I'll go there. I was actually just going to say lie. How they play the game. But they play the game. And, I've learned now in modern days that when women play the game, they can't take it.
Right.
They can't handle it. They're not able to digest what they put on the plate for you to eat. So, how many times have any of you ever met a guy? Couple of days later, you just feel butterflies. Maybe a couple of weeks later, you was like, you know what? I think he's the one. I'm in love, or I'm really cutting for him. real soon. But then it was just lust. Or when I say lust, I'm even talking about you may have already had got some. You done already sampled the groceries. Yeah, you done already sampled the groceries, and so you know what he's working with. So you might even fell in love with that. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about it.
Well,
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
In
'Cause
situations to where,
that's Mr. Wrong.
that is
All the way.
where and see that's where it kind of funny because my type is I get a type and I see a type and that's my type because I'm attracted to you and you make me want to just salivate. For lack of a better word, so you already in your mind is already you slept with the person because that's what you're attracted to. I'm attracted to what I'm
What you're looking
seeing
at.
because that's when you go to look for a person or to date or
Mate.
chill with a person.
Right.
Your physical is what attracts you to each other. So when you see a person, that's the first thing you think about. How would this person be in bed? That's how I was growing up, because that's how would this person, is this, because first thing you look at is their feet in the midsection. That's the first thing you look at when you look at a man.
She looking at the print.
And it's like, okay, if I can't see
Exactly.
if you got some nice shoes, okay, let's see what you got.
Yeah, but see, sometimes that can trick you though. See?
It really can because I had my first share
In them big old long clown shoes. Where the rest of your foot at?
Exactly. See, and then the first person
You
meet
show about 4 inches.
with size 14, you like okay, you gotta be, I mean, luckily I'm married at 14, so it wasn't. I'm glad it wasn't. It wasn't for show.
You know what? Glad he didn't have on the Ronald McDonald shoes.
I think I stayed and had 4 kids.
You know what? For a reason.
Well, I knew it, Mom. His nickname was Superman because every time you look up, I was pregnant.
People gonna be googling you. Let's go see what. People gonna be googling you.
Hey, he was feeding lips when I met him. So that's all he had, and the thing about it, my husband wasn't my type, so I didn't look at him like I wanted to sleep with him.
Right.
So I would look at him. Matter of fact, we had actually met through a friend over the phone. So we had that 3 weeks over the phone. Back in the day, that's how we used to date. We
Yeah,
would
through
talk
the
on the phone
phone.
for a while. Do that. So he made me laugh. So I was already attracted to his personality. So by the time we met, I was like, ugh, but
Like, yeah, I like you.
Right.
Maybe I like you a lot.
That did make me laugh, so let me see what he about,
Right.
And then, and I was like, oh, he has some pretty large shoes, so let's see what this bedroom actually talking about.
Whoa.
So, I decided to stay,
We should have had her on the show a couple weeks ago. We was talking about the 90-day rule.
I've never had that. So,
That's something that came
I've never
up
had that.
a couple of years ago. So, of course, that's not something that we would have experienced because Steve Harvey just wrote the book like 10 years ago. So
And that,
Yeah.
and that really don't show you nothing. Because
It
if they
doesn't.
committed into getting what they want, they're gonna wait.
they're going to wait the 90 days.
They're
They're not gonna wait with just you.
Exactly.
They're gonna be getting what they
That's
want to get.
exactly. That's
Your
90
food is
days
90
over here,
days.
90 days over here, 90 days
That's
over
the
here.
big
So
thing.
I'm on day 79
so I
over
only got
here.
27 more days with Sheik over here.
Exactly.
With 27 more days.
Right, they
I'm working
working
on it. It's a
out.
project.
It's just like you saving up. Hey, I'm almost got enough to pay for this one. So I'm gonna go on over here and start investing in this one because this one this be about to do. So after this one, I'm gonna.
And that is so true.
So
That's what you call playing the field.
hey.
That's when
And
when
it get
old school
exhausting
folks,
sometimes, too.
when old school folks used to say playing the field, that's what they was talking about. You gotta move over here. Now you playing the receiver. Now you running over here. You playing safety. Now you over here. You playing running back. Now you running it in. So there's different things related back into. If we go back into topic about love and lust. A lot of people I feel are addicted to love sometimes, or infatuated with the fact of being in love, and so they're rushing into it as well, and it's not real love. They're infatuated
With
with
the idea of
love.
yes, like I actually have met some people, and like they're my friends or acquaintances rather, and they'll start talking to somebody this month, and they're hitting it off, and it's good, and then not even 3 months from now, they're starting up all over again. And when I'm listening to them, and they're telling me their stories, and I'm giving my advice, and listening into what's happening, the pattern that what I'm seeing and what I actually told them, I said, you like the butterfly feeling. You're infatuated with the beginning stage of learning somebody and knowing somebody and that good feeling that they give you and the good energy that passes through when you first meet somebody. That giddy feeling, that good up feeling like, oh yeah, I like, yeah, and then it's just like the getting to know them and y'all sharing your differences and things that you like, so you get attached to that, and then once you're over that and there's nothing new about them or fresh about them to offer, you're over them. Of course, they are being sexually involved within this time frame. There's even been some times when the stories have come across that even that was a factor. Like, yeah, the sex is good, this is good, but I don't know. Like, I was like, well, what did they do wrong? And I even thought it was about shallow how. Like, what is it? Does her big toe big, too big, or what is it? And he'll have like the smallest things to be wrong with them, or he'll pick a fight. It's something like that to the degree where they end up leaving.
Have you had too much of a good thing? Because some people are destined for a disaster. Because
They create their own
they're
chaos.
anticipated, so they're going to create it before it happens,
Yes.
so they won't be blindsided.
That's
Right.
fear. That's
So
fear.
that's fear.
I thought that as well.
And what it is that it's something in their background.
Yeah,
their
that's
past.
abandonment
Their
issues.
past hurt. They're wanting to be the ones that hurt.
To hurt somebody. They're scared of being hurt, so they're gonna hurt them before
Exactly.
they
But
can get hurt.
but to me, when I talk to them, the only reason why I get what y'all saying, but that might be a factor, but there's no. Well, what I was about to say is that there's more of they're over it. They lose interest. Like, it's not even so much as abandonment. Like, let me hurt you before you hurt me. That they
The pattern that
they lose interest in the person.
It's kind of like a hobby.
It's like almost like they worn out their welcome. Like they go heavy real early, and then now you don't have anything
You're
to look forward
exhausted from
to.
trying to hurry up and do
I just feel like you don't have nothing else to look forward to.
That gets exhausting, as you
Absolutely,
like,
and this
I don't
person
wanna
is
do
in
it
their
again.
40s.
I know
Dating
that's
is
what
shallow.
I don't want to do it no more. I'm tired. I know who you
Right,
are.
I understand.
And I'm not to figure out who knows somebody else. is.
Exactly. We not
There's
starting
women
over.
out here marrying good
Hey.
men just to have a man.
I done got tired.
Seriously.
Yes.
Come on.
Just to
I've seen it.
yes.
I'm
So you won't be lonely.
That was one of the
Occupy
questions.
space. That's
That
what
was
it
one of
is.
the questions that I asked was, did you marry for all the wrong reasons? So I want to talk about that as well, because some of us get infatuated with the wedding. You know what I'm saying? He proposed. Of course, y'all remember the episode of Martin when Pam was finna marry Solomon. Because she said, I learned to love you. I have talked to so many women who have told me that they married their spouse and they were not in love. I don't see how this is possible. I don't know. I know I have been in a relationship with somebody hoping that I would fall back in love, but not, I'm about to marry you and I'm not even in love with you.
And especially if they're not that financially stable. If they don't have that type of money, then I'm just gonna marry for money and then I learn to love them. That's what you usually hear.
It ain't even about the financial part. I mean, your stability period is gonna be enough for me. But I mean, I can't really say. I can say that now in the age that I am now, but that's not the route that I took, unfortunately, because we couldn't rub two niggas together. But I still stayed around,
But you didn't have to learn to love. Y'all.
No, I did.
Now, if I have to do it now, I'll be
Yeah, I mean, when I say learn to love, I guess I won't say learn to love, but I had to have the willingness to stay through that. You know what I'm saying? So that was the desire. That's where the love kicked in. That's unconditional. I was willing to, be there despite of, right? And so, at the time, I kept looking for answers in older people. I would go ask them, how would you know when you're ready to leave? And how would you know this and how that? And I mean, I was young. They was like, oh, you'll know. Nobody's going to be able to tell you but you. When you're ready to go, you'll know. And it never happened. Like, no matter how many fights we didn't have, I done packed up my stuff a lot of times. I've done the loaded up the car, got the kids up late at night. Y'all, come on. We're looking at apartments. Got a boom. What did you say?
I think we all did that
And then end up in I done packed up all his stuff, and then before I know it, I'm putting it back on the shelf.
At
Exactly.
least 10 years in, you done packed up.
What? You done packed up a lot of stuff.
25 years, I done packed up,
I'm a
moved,
veteran
came back.
I'm a veteran at packing in the game. I'm a veteran at packing in the game.
You know what?
I'm a veteran at packing in the game.
I can't say the 25 years. I've never actually went away. I never actually moved out the house. I may move to another room. So, but I've never actually moved out of the house.
I moved out the house.
I moved out the house. But
I moved out the house. I didn't know where to keep everything.
So you stay, I go.
I'll put his stuff out. I tell him, okay, well you sleep. I don't care where you sleep, but you sleep in your room. So and the thing about it, I joke about it now, but it was a point of time to where I think that I wasn't afraid to go to jail because I physically shot at my husband.
But when it got to that point, that's when I had to move around. When it got to the point where I was like sitting next to him at night, like, you know what? Y'all go to sleep. I done started the whole thing. I watched CSI today. I know exactly what's finna go there. You know what I'm saying?
What to clean up and what to,
Hey, so. But I feel like when it got to that point, that's the unhealthy level. And there's no love or lust at that point. You're starting to develop feelings of hatred.
Right.
You know what? And I think it was more for me is not knowing how to love because I never had that. Versus Melissa's, her parents. Your parents have been married for 30 years. Now my grandparents were married for since I was born. However, my mom and dad never had a healthy relationship. I always saw him leaving. So it was never, and she always took him back after she knew he cheated. So my thing was, I vowed that that's not going to be me. So I wouldn't take the slightest thing. If I thought I was being betrayed, I went left. You know what I'm saying? So I went, and it could have not even been what it was, but I took it there because I wanted to show him I'm not going to accept it. I'm not my mama. I'm not going to carry her demons. You're not going to do me like he did her. Because I used to think I heard my mom crying at night. And I used to think to myself, instead of being sorrowful and, hurt behind my mom crying, I was angry with her. Because I felt like she was weak for taking him back.
Oh, definitely, girl. You going to a whole nother
Okay. But, and in that subject, when you're younger, you don't see it from a mother or a wife standpoint. No. And the reason why I say that is because I had those same thoughts when I was younger. Because I used to get abused. You know what I'm saying? And my mama would never save me. I always used to say, like, when my daddy was in there beating us down, my mama would never come in there and be like, okay, that's enough. You know what I'm saying? Even with me being a girl, like, I used to get old and booze, you know what I'm saying? like for real. And she never used to come save me. And so when I became a teenager, there was a development of spite towards that, you know what I'm saying? Because he never did it to her. That was one thing I could say. I never seen or heard my dad put his hands on my mom. But he would get drunk for some reason and beat his kids. But and so when I actually got in high school, there was an incident one morning when my dad was taking me to school and he hit me on my way in school. And I caught my mom when I was when I walked in the office at work, and she left work and went to my dad's job. I didn't know until later on, but she actually went to his job and confronted him, and they had a big fight at his job about that. And by then, I'm 16 or 17 years old, so, but I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And what the point that she made was that stuff like that happened a lot where she defended me and I didn't know. And also, what she taught me was, when the kids go to sleep, there's nobody in the bedroom but you and him. So you also have to pick your battles on how you confront him with situations, because it's a man, it's his pride, it's his ego. Yes. If I go and rip you away from them, or I take away the disciplinarian that you are with the kids, they're going to lose respect for you. Right. If I go in and interfere with it now, they're going to feel like they can pick sides. So when she taught me that, I was like, okay, that makes sense, and now I understand why you had to wait till he maybe get in the room and chew him out. You know what I'm saying? Not in front of us, because, or say, hey, maybe you went too far, or maybe you did this and do that. And it showed me that when I didn't know communication was going on behind the doors, there was actually a healthy marriage somewhere there that we didn't even know. You know what I'm saying? Because there was so much other things going on, we didn't know that that's how they were sustaining. So that same type of problem, going back to what you were saying, sometimes we can tell our future spouse or mate about things from our past and they can use it against us.
Yes.
I felt like at one point of my life that's what happened. I felt like I told you about my past because even though my father was that way, I was daddy's girl. I was attached to him like his clothes. Like he couldn't go nowhere without me. And I expressed that. You know, I was like, hey, I was a daddy's girl. I was this, I was this, I was that. My dad would do this to me. Then the next day he would take me out to eat. Or he would do this to me and then go take me shopping. And so I started seeing that in my relationship. And I was like, okay.
It'll hurt you and then.
Yeah, try to make or act like it didn't happen. You know, like that's what was really getting to me. Is like because now, and that's I think that's why now I have such an anger for people playing with my intelligence.
Yeah.
Because you try to pretend like stuff didn't happen.
When you know dirt?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I can't deal with people sweeping stuff under the rug. Like, yeah, this still even though we talked about it yesterday, I ain't forgot. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna stay and have this conversation. Don't forget, don't think it's over. So I think that all of that carried in, like y'all said, from the childhood. You know what I'm saying? Things that I experienced then, even though I vowed the same thing, I'm never gonna be with a man who put his hands on me. I'm never gonna be this, I'm never gonna be that. But those same things somehow counteract.
Follow you and they come. They
Yeah,
come
But I was
anyway.
able to see both sides because my granddaddy was the type of person where he was the provider. You know, my grandma, but it was different. My grandma didn't pay bills. My granddaddy paid all the bills and he made all the money. So he was everything, but he treated her like a queen. Ish. That was his queen. And I saw that because I stayed with them most of the time. Because I didn't want to be at home, because I didn't want to be around that. So I stayed with them most of the time. So I saw how my granddad treated my grandma, and I said, okay, now that's what I want, you know. But then I also saw what I didn't want.
Right.
So when I selected my husband, even though I didn't know what that was good for me, I was about to let everything go that I needed. My husband treats me like my granddaddy treated my grandma. He provides for me. Now in the beginning, we both didn't know what we were doing, so we did make mistakes as trying to figure out how to be married because we didn't know how to be married. We saw marriages, we saw bits and pieces, but we didn't know what happened behind closed doors. We knew what we saw, but we didn't know how to deal with the problems because we never saw them deal with problems. We didn't know how to deal with the hurt and the pain when you're upset or you're angry, and we didn't know what to do with that anger. So we lashed out at each other. But we had to learn to love each other. Learn how to love each other. I ain't gonna say learn to love each other because we love, but we love
We
incorrectly.
need different kinds of love.
Exactly.
Yes, at different times.
Exactly.
Yes.
I like I said, we loved incorrectly. We loved, but we just loved wrong.
Right.
So we had to figure out what was best for us. I realized that I couldn't do what they did. I
Right.
had to do what fit us. You know, so
What worked for y'all.
exactly. So now when we got a plan and we got okay, this is who we are as a couple. This is who we are
this
as
is
a
our
marriage.
niche.
So that's why, I've been married for 25 years, but it's not been all easy. We're still learning as the years go on. There's some things that I find out about my husband. I'm like, you know what? You didn't used to like this, but you like it now.
Yeah.
Because as we get older, we don't realize we become different people.
Yeah.
Because we evolve, we change, we grow,
And we rub off on each other.
Exactly.
We rub off, we develop,
Exactly.
yeah.
So we realize either we like the same thing, but we don't like nothing that we used to like. You know,
Yes.
and we end up asking each other, why we don't do this anymore? Because that's not
Not
who we are
no
anymore.
more, yeah.
You know, instead of focusing on the past, let's find something else we can do together.
But see, that's
We don't do
important.
that.
And I actually had suggested that at one point. I was like, you know what, maybe we should date each other again. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew I had fallen out of love completely, you know, because I was gone for, you know, several years. And I know where I was emotionally, you know, and where my feelings were. And he didn't want to. He felt like I was trying to change him or ask him of things that, you know, he was okay with the routine. He was okay with how things were. And I was like basically being extra because I was saying, you know, I've grown into this other person. I'm not this 18, 19-year-old little girl that when we first got together. I've grown into a woman. After 15 years, you know, you got to expect some change within me. So I want you to learn who I am now. You know, I'm a different energy now. I'm a whole different character. You know what I'm saying? So to say, and I want you to know who I am. I don't like those things no more. You know what I'm saying?
That young stuff.
Yeah, and there's certain places I don't want to go anymore, and there's certain things that I want to do now that we may not have done before.
Right.
There's new things I want to experience. There's new goals I have. You know, financially, when you have kids, and kids are growing up, you know, you got kids pushing towards high school, your train of thought changes because, you know, you got 4 years before that child is about to go to college. And so my train of thought now is focusing on saving money, investing in stocks and bonds. You know, Lord, thank God people came out with this Bitcoin, but I was already in the mindset of, you know, rearranging my 401k and, you know, doing some real homestead investments. So that way, when college time comes around, I have different resources to be able to pour into my kids. You know, I wasn't thinking about that 10 years ago. I feel like I had time to blow.
Yeah.
You did. Your kids what? 2 years?
Yeah, well, TJ be 15 this year, so you know, I wasn't thinking about it then, but you know, those are things that I'm thinking about now. So I have to have somebody that's understanding with the financial side of balancing a home. They don't, some men don't understand how important that having that financial wisdom and the stability in a home helps it move successfully. Yes. So. You said you've been married 25 years. How many years have you been married?
15.
15. What's the longest you were in a relationship?
3 years.
3 years. Okay. So everybody's had some lengthy relationships. Have you ever dealt with a physical change in your relationship and it caused an issue?
Yes. It was actually when I lost weight. Because when
you got
my-
5'5".
there was a point of time to where, you know, of course you have children, you know, you gain all this weight. Because when I got my husband, matter of fact, I had lost. I was at my smallest when we got together, I was like 160, you know, so I thought I was just fine as wine. So as the years grow, we have children. I got up all the way up to 300 some odd pounds. So I no longer love myself. So I was in a point where I was like, okay, something had to change. So when I realized that I wanted to change, because I was never pressured to change.
Right.
And the thing about it, my thing about it, I think he liked me bigger. Because he knew where I'll be.
Yep.
He knew where I was, and he didn't worry about me going out because he knew I didn't love myself. However, when I lost the weight and I started to, you know, realize
yourself.
that I love me, you know,
Yeah,
I
got
like
that
me.
self-esteem back,
It was
confidence.
things
got
as
insecure.
simple as going to work. To where it was a problem with me even going to work.
Yeah.
I was always looking at somebody. It was always somebody else at the job.
Yeah.
It was always, oh, you going to work? You all
Dressed
fixing
like
yourself-
that.
You're fixing yourself up to go to work. It must be somebody out there that caught your eye. So it was when I lost weight that there was a issue. It's like he loved me more, bigger. I wouldn't say he loved me more. I think he was more secure.
He was content.
When I was bigger than when I was smaller, because now he figured he had something.
It was no
some
competition.
Yep.
Instead of
Girl, come
trusting
on.
me that his love was enough, he didn't trust me, and he didn't communicate that with me, that I have some insecurities about you losing weight.
What
because
is?
Exactly, because that's
He gonna
why.
make you feel bad about it.
Exactly,
Right,
exactly.
right.
To the point where I started I started to think.
Don't know who you want to
Wait a
be no
minute,
more.
well, am I showing him that I'm doing? And I started to ask questions.
Question yourself.
You know,
Yep.
Your
and I was
love,
like,
your
am
love.
I doing this? You know,
No.
and the thing about it, at the same time, I was getting compliments from male co-workers to where they were like, you know, hey, you look good and this and that. But my husband would stop giving it to me.
Yep.
He felt like if he gave it to me, that
You
I
were
would
blowing your head up.
Exactly.
Yep.
Instead, he made it a way for other men to compliment me to
And
where
make you
now
feel good.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
Hello, somebody.
When he stopped and they started, now
That's
my
the
attention is gravitating,
Right.
even though I hadn't
And
physically
it had
acted
nothing
on
to
it.
do with anything, losing weight, anything. It's because how you acted and how you treated me.
But now I feel like they pay attention to me, you no longer paying attention to me, and I'm asking him for something that he refused to give me.
That's how this emotional cheating starts.
Exactly.
Yep, girl,
and
come
that's
on.
where it started. And I didn't even know what emotional cheating was until
Emotional
I
cheating
feel
is
until
devastating
exactly when you
So that
sit
coworker
down
get in your
talking to
head.
somebody else about what you need,
Yeah.
and it ain't your husband.
That's it.
Right.
That's why a couple of weeks ago we
Mhm.
talked about co-worker boyfriends and girlfriends.
Mhm.
No, it was in the
Work
last year.
husbands and work.
Yes, work
that's just
girlfriends.
dangerous. You know,
What?
especially
Because you're spending so much
The time with them.
Yeah.
Yep. And they going and hey, I'm finna go get something to eat. You wanna go?
Mhm.
So now y'all going to lunch and y'all really talking about personal stuff and they know about your kids. They know what's going on at home and
And they know what you
home.
lacking at home.
Exactly.
And then you come home, you
Exactly.
arguing and fussing and fighting, and
Exactly.
you don't want to hear all
But
that.
not even just that. Now they know how to solve your problems.
Now
Now they know where to come. They know how to
Exactly.
approach you because you let them know where you're vulnerable.
And they know you are starving for touch. So now those hugs last a little bit longer than when you know what I'm saying. Them hugs ain't so brief no more.
Right.
You know, the hugs last a little bit longer to where you start to think about maybe they got what I'm looking for.
Right.
Let me look at you. Let me look at you.
You walk
You
in,
hungry?
They walk in, you walk in, they treat you like a supermodel. Ooh.
What she say on this? What he say on this?
to where it get dangerous, where you get excited to see them when you walk in your job.
Have you ate today? Let me get you some water. You like
That's
to
when
get
it's
some water.
dangerous, when you get excited to see them when you walk in your
There
job.
you go.
So that's when it gets
There go,
dangerous.
babe.
You're like, okay, yeah.
Now you
that's
feel
the
yourself a
feeling.
little extra and
Exactly.
wear a little shorter dress.
All because-
that was on Tyler Perry too when old girl was cheating with the dude at work and she was making sure her intimates
Everything was-
matched.
yeah,
and,
everything.
you know, she
yeah.
was laying it out delicately. He was just watching like, yeah, where you
I
been
see
doing?
you, yeah,
Where you going?
Yeah,
Yeah, he was watching.
So you know, you starve for attention. That starvation, you gonna feed somewhere.
It's a bit that we're gonna bring y'all back for that one because that's definitely a dangerous zone.
Yeah.
I've actually lived and walked in it, so it's
I've walked
definitely
in it.
a
I
dangerous
walked
zone.
in it so closely to where
And we can try to justify
with the room.
You almost slipped and fell on it.
What? She said,
I had to
literally.
I was like, Lord Jesus, let me.
Hey, Mimi.
I was like, Lord,
So-
you know.
Having the show? You doing the show, girl? Come over here, girl, with your chicken wing, girl. You know what? That's my battle buddy, y'all. But we definitely gonna have to go down that.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what
Oh,
we're
yeah.
gonna
That's
top.
a
The
dangerous
topic is gonna
road.
be called the danger zone.
No.
Because you do lack emotion sometimes, and that's that dangerous zone where you really gotta stick if you marry, stick to your covenant
Yes.
of not crossing the line, and not getting involved with that work husband or work girlfriend.
What do you do when you begging your husband for attention and you give it to him?
Hey, you don't see me over here? Right. You don't see me?
And you telling him, you verbally say, okay, you know what, maybe he don't get the hints. Let me tell him.
Let me take it
I'm
off.
needing something you
Right,
ain't
and
giving
then
me.
now you're like, girl, you all right. You just
Yeah.
want
No,
me.
not even that. What's wrong with you?
Those is very rare. Oh, we alright.
Yeah.
Okay,
Why
I'm telling
is it
you.
that they don't see the signs when you know when things are different, when you're,
Because
things are
they're
different.
comfortable.
Exactly.
They don't want to have those conversations.
Yeah, it's too
period.
hard.
It's too hard because you're throwing off
But
the
you know
track.
things are not okay.
Yeah, and
Things are okay.
they
to do,
know
but
it.
they
No,
ain't
they
okay.
know it, but as long as you don't say anything, they're gonna keep
They
going.
gonna
But your
keep-
actions.
We can
you
sit
ain't not
there-
saying nothing verbally, but
I
your
talked about
actions
this on one of my
And
first shows. We'll walk through the house and slam every cabinet,
Yep.
every door, stomp until we can't stomp no
And they
more.
won't say
And
what?
they will not say a word.
And-
They'll watch
Oh,
you,
she
they'll
told me
laugh
she
at you.
was
Oh, yeah. Oh, you got an attitude.
Yep, you tripping. I don't know what's wrong with you, but let me stay out your way.
Yeah.
You know, it's everything.
Instead of, come
But-
here, baby, let me hold you.
Everything
What's wrong
but,
with you?
come here,
Yeah.
what's wrong with you? Grab me
Yeah.
by my shirt or something.
Yeah.
Ask me what's wrong. Don't just sit here and just.
And especially if you say, baby, am I not attracted to you no more? And your answer, your response as your
You
husband
alright?
is, oh, you look alright.
Oh, girl, that right there get you shot. I'm just saying.
Start DDT you
Oh, you
real
come out, you
quick.
be like, hi, look. Oh,
That's
all
cool.
right.
Yes, that's straight. Straight.
I was trying to look good.
Oh, let me
Hello.
go see what Mr. James over here.
Okay, but soon as
And
you
then-
walk in,
Yeah.
your work
Man,
husband's like,
man,
ooh,
hey.
When I used to,
Exactly.
When I was younger, this lady that I used to work for at McDonald's, when I was 16, she used to get dressed up and go to Walmart. She actually put me on it. She said, girl, I would put on my heels. She said I would do my makeup. She said I would do everything and go push the buggy around Walmart. But her husband be like, she'll be gone for hours. You know, 'cause you can have fun in Walmart for hours.
Oh, yeah.
And she would be in
Looking
there,
at
she would be
everything.
spending money or just looking and stuff, and he would be blowing up her phone wondering where she is, and she ain't nowhere but at Walmart because how she left the house.
Done that. I went to see the Walmart parking lot. And he was like, first of all, he was like, where you finna go? I said, I'm gonna make a run.
Yep, I'm finna go hit a few
I'm gonna make a run.
corners. Yes,
And
girl.
he was like, okay, you want me to go with you? No, I got this by myself. I got it by myself. And I done got all fixed up and everything,
Yeah.
got my makeup on and everything, and I'm gone. And then he called me a phone before you get out the parking lot. Good.
Yep.
You sure you want me to go with you? I'm sure. I'm good.
Yeah.
And he gone.
See, I'ma tell you
in the
what Rick
Walmart
does.
parking lot.
Rick used to, he used to have me bring stuff back. Like if I'm saying I'm going to a certain place, he would ask me to bring something back from that place so he could confirm that I was there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, me and the
They
girls,
always
me and
out.
the girls gonna go to Applebee's. You know, we're gonna go hang out. And make sure you bring me something when you get ready to leave. And I knew that wasn't nothing but so, cause if you somewhere else, who gonna want to take the time to go stop by Applebee's
exactly,
to go
and
order
carry
food?
out.
Yeah. So he used to do stuff like that to me. He would ask me wherever I was going to bring something back. So, you know, dudes try to get it in how they can, but they be knowing. They just try to play crazy.
Oh, yes.
Or now when the guy, cause I left my phone, I don't lock my phone. I have no
Sir,
phone.
sir, are you
Don't lock
married?
my phone.
Sir, are you married?
Oh, no, ma'am.
Like that? Oh, no, ma'am. We're doing a podcast about marriages. That's why.
Okay.
He's like, oh, no.
I don't like my phone either, so I feel
I make
like
too many mistakes.
But that doesn't mean you don't get to be married. Marriage is about mistakes.
that's about, if you have to not
It's all
make
about
mistakes to be
mistakes.
married, we all should be single.
Look, just keep trying.
But I was saying I don't lock my phone, and so if somebody was sliding in my DMs, you know, in the Facebook post,
Exactly.
I'm DMing all these things. Hey, beautiful. Who is that? I don't know who that is.
But look, did I even respond to it? It's still unread.
Oh my
You know,
God,
it's still on black.
It came in while it's sitting on the table, and he said, "Hey, beautiful."
Exactly.
Oh, so this is somebody you've been
Exactly.
talking to.
You know, yeah, it's been a relationship.
Right.
You know, or my husband likes to put our daughters, because our daughters are both adults. You know, my oldest daughter, she'll be 30 this year, and my youngest daughter, she'll be 25. So he likes to use them as allies for his. So even though he'll know the story, he'll say, "Oh, your mom tripping again. I think some guys, you know, is making advances at her, and I think she actually, you know, liking the advances." So they come, "Mama, what's going on?"
Yeah.
Right. What you doing with my daddy?
You like, what you talking about? Yeah.
Daddy said some guy said liked your picture. I'm like, okay,
look.
That's what it's for. Like my picture.
exactly.
Okay.
Don't like my picture. Love
But you know
my
what? I
stuff.
used to tell
if
Rick
you don't
that.
like it, don't even like
No,
it.
but I
Just
used to
love
tell
it.
Rick used to get so upset when people used to comment under my pictures, y'all. He used to get
Oh, my
so
goodness.
mad because people used to be under there having conversations like, "Oh, you so fine. I want to take you out," and all this kind of stuff. And Rick used to get so mad. I said, "Man, get on there and be like, yeah, my wife is fine."
Exactly.
Yeah,
You can do that.
Yeah, that's
No,
what I tell him.
I had to tell him to start doing that. And so when he would see it, it used to make me blush because he would come on there and he'd be like, "Yeah, she is beautiful." Like, yeah, come on now, let them know
Exactly.
that I'm
responded
yours.
to him one time. He was like, baby, somebody just text your phone. Can I text them back?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're so the men are so afraid to make their claim. You know, if
I'm
you
gonna
see
make
it-
mine. Listen,
Right.
I'm gonna make mine.
I know that.
They like
I'd
looking
rather
good.
you
I'm
put
like, he
somebody
sure
else
is.
in
I'm
their
glad he
place
mine.
than me have to do it. Because when you put it on me, you making it seem like I'm responsible for somebody else's actions.
Exactly.
We're Facebook friends, and unfortunately, we live in a world of social media where
They
people
will call
feel free
you.
on Facebook and don't
Oh,
even know
and-
you.
and-
Listen, they don't care.
They don't just slide.
They
in
don't
them,
care.
will call
They
you.
don't want to slide. They
I
want to
had
die.
They will video chat.
Video you, yes.
One dude called me right, and me and my husband just
Exactly.
laid around.
Oh my
He called
God.
me, He was.
Yes. Oh my God. I get so many of those unwanted.
Yeah.
Facebook.
And
With
Right,
Facebook,
they
y'all
know
need to
you
stay out the
caught me off
DMs with
guard,
that.
like, really. I mean,
And they be like, this what you make me want to do. Listen, I didn't ask for this.
Right.
Believe me, this is not gonna be what I'm asking for.
Right. Not
And
this.
now I gotta have a
Not
conversation
this
with my
way.
husband, like, what is this?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, do he always send you this? Why would I always get this?
I don't even know him.
Right.
Like, I wouldn't even want that from you. Why would I want that from somebody else?
He does this to everybody. He was just hoping somebody answered. I don't know.
I wouldn't even want you to send me nothing like that, let alone somebody else.
Take it away. Take it away.
Wait,
Delete.
okay.
Right.
Say it back one more time. Oh, I will.
I mean, I'm gonna put it up for later, but I'm just
Hey, won't you walk out and come back in?
I'm gonna put it in my saved messages, but listen.
Right there. I'm gonna check that a little longer.
Girl, and while y'all playing, Facebook has a secret conversation. Have you ever been inboxing somebody and if you accidentally click on their head, the whole little settings comes up. You could actually click on a secret conversation. Then another day I was messaging, and if you swipe up, it goes into vanish mode. Have you seen that?
Yes.
What that mean? You have
It's
to
something for cheaters. It's just
It's
some
the
advanced
thing.
stuff
Like,
for cheaters.
I didn't know what happened. I was like, what happened to the messages? They just disappeared. But that's why a lot of people.
do Snapchat.
I was just gonna say they like Snapchat and Instagram used to be that way too. Instagram now saves them, but when Instagram first came out and you would DM, the messages would delete just like Snapchat. They wouldn't stay. So that's what made Facebook adapt to the whole delete thing, because before you couldn't remove your messages.
You sure
couldn't delete
couldn't.
them. Facebook was there. You was in trouble. There wasn't no take it back.
Yeah, I'm glad they got them removed, but
So
But you know, we all have some. Now, I can say this. Me and my husband debated this. I think we all have somebody from our past that can be considered kryptonite.
no.
you know what? We're not gonna do that.
Consider
We're not gonna do that.
Not me.
Consider what?
Kryptonite.
I wouldn't say.
Satan, get thee behind me.
And we would. He was like, "No, I ain't never dated nobody. I want to see it. I ain't dating. I saw your past relationship. I wouldn't want you to see them again either." But
Everybody from his past done figured out I'm not going nowhere. Look.
Right. Public service announcement. I'm with Harold.
but
Today.
I'm with Harold. For the night.
You look okay, Lil Wayne, because I'm single. Look.
see, men make themselves look guilty, even if they're not doing nothing.
My husband, okay. So there was this one chick from his last job that I told him, I said, Harold, that chick like you.
They deny it. Oh, they get so naive.
He's not denying it.
No,
In the back of his head, he said, I knew it.
This chick come to the house, drove by the house and dropped him off some cereal because she knows it's his favorite kind of cereal.
No, she
I
didn't.
said, if you don't
I would have beat her with that box of
back,
cereal. I would have beat her
if you
with
don't
that
put
box.
That's
that box of
disrespectful.
cereal
Ma'am,
back-
come here. I have something for you.
And
I would start beating
and
her.
you're like, first of all, you brought it in the house.
How you know where I'm staying,
He was
man?
like, oh, that's just, so and so. She just
She
brought
can't
me some
bring you
cereal.
home
She
no
know
more.
I like this kind.
She know you.
She
Let me
exactly.
tell her what I like.
Show up what I
Let me
like.
show her what I like.
And I knew, and then, so one day we ran into her in the store, and I ran into her in the store, and so my battery had died, and I was trying to call my husband, right? So I was like, hey, I thought we was cool enough. I said, hey, can I use your phone? We call my husband. Tell me why I want to use this phone.
It didn't come up.
Yes, it did.
It didn't come up.
As baby.
No, it didn't. I would have beat her. I would have broke her phone. I would have broke her whole phone.
I was about to
You
leave.
know what I'm saying? You ain't thinking about it. So she let me use the phone. I
Maybe
get
I
ready
was
to
left that
die.
phone in
you know?
Hey.
And when baby pulled up, the phone went across a couple of aisles.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
I would have broke her
No, the
phone.
phone when she would have went across a couple of hours. Because we had that issue. We had that same issue because I told my husband, I said, this girl like you. And then, and matter of fact, she used to bring him home from work. Yeah, bring him home from work. So I said, so one day we both laying on the couch together. The phone ring. It's her. I'm like, first of all, y'all both off. So why is she calling you?
Right.
I said, how did she get your number, first of all? Oh, she asked me.
Oh, so we just
So-
giving our number out?
So before we go to you, I'm gonna say this. Sometimes men can lust that way because they know that they have love. Men are able to comfortably lust and entertain women because they know that they don't have to keep it. They have something already at home. So to me, that's a different level of playing the field because I can dibble and dabble with you. And we actually talked about this a couple of shows back because we talked about some women do that. Well, they prefer to have a man that's married or that's in a relationship because she
Yep.
get what she wants from him and then give him back.
Oh, yeah.
And so men do the same thing. I got a wife at home, and men enjoy having a wife at home because that's solid. That ain't going
Yeah.
nowhere. But now I can lust and I can do all these things and have all this entertainment for me until I get a
I ain't hungry, but I can eat.
Yeah, just because just gluttony. There you go. You know. But I do want to ask you before we wrap the show up about your changes. If you had any changes physically in your marriage that you had to deal with, where do you feel like the little friend that came around, was it? Because we always will examine the other woman. You know what I'm saying? And we always want to compare. And because I know I would be like, oh, you went and got all these old Easter egg looking at women, all of them looking like Humpty Dumpty. You could at least got somebody better than me,
Incredible egg.
Yeah, looking like a baseball bat.
Honestly, she was never a threat to me because I knew. First of all, he didn't even entertain her. She was mostly, infatuated, waiting on me to leave. And she was like, any day now, I'm gonna have a husband.
Let me cause a little problem.
So she knew what you had. She knew what he was worth.
Right.
Have you and him ever dealt with anything one-on-one that was physical, where you felt like you may have gained more weight than when y'all first got together?
Of course, I did gain weight. I gained a lot of weight. When he met me, I was fat. When he married me, when I had a baby, I got fatter. And so he did not love me based on my size. He loved me.
Right.
So no matter what size I was, when I went a little down, when I went a little up, no matter what size I was,
he was your rider.
He was right there. He was my rider. So, he was cheering me on. Hey, you want to lose weight? That's great. If you don't, then I still love you. I'm good.
Yeah.
I wasn't going nowhere. And so I really appreciate it because I didn't decide to lose weight for my husband. I lost weight for myself.
you.
Right.
I want to be more active. And like you said, I want to love
Mm-hmm.
myself more. I want to be more active with my family. And so I did it for myself. But it was never any pressure from my spouse.
Yeah. And that's the good thing, like we talked about in the beginning of the show, is that you self-examine and are making the changes for you, whether it's health or you want to just love the person more that you see in the mirror. There's an image of yourself that you want to be at, and that's what a lot of people get twisted up with the whole cosmetic thing. Like I see a lot of people now going and taking fat from their body and putting it in their butt or putting it in their hips, and trying to create the perfect body. Where back in the day, it used to just be simply work out. But I do understand that you look in the mirror sometimes and you just see yourself a certain way. I have a friend that uses steroids that I disagree with, you know what I'm saying? And I'm always telling them, like, hey, you can do the same thing and get the same results with working out, but they like the way that the steroids make them feel while they're working out. Like, they like the fact that they can be 160 or 70 pounds and go in there and lift 300 pounds because you on this stuff, so, and they like the fact that they can go work out, twice this week and already have muscles like they're bodybuilding. So, again, all I can do is tell you about your health, and being safe. Yeah, because so many things go wrong with them that do the steroids. They have to take hormones. They have to take testosterone and stuff to balance themselves back out, and they gotta go get blood transfusions because their blood is messed up. Like, their platelets are too thick. Their blood thickens when they do the steroids. So then instead of doing blood thinners or taking aspirin, sometimes they actually have to go donate blood just to recycle their blood back out because it's so thick. So love the skin that you're in. My story was similar to yours also. I was always busted. And then after I had my second son, they just kept growing. I had actually got up to a size H. I didn't even know they had H's until I got there. I thought they stopped at double D. I didn't even know. Like, I didn't know they had triple D's and all these other different sizes until it was applicable to me. But as soon as I got some good insurance, I was working for Bank of America. I went and got my surgery done. And the main factor that I told the surgeon was that I want to do this so that I can work out. Because I used to be very active. I used to be athletic and things like that. And when them things big, you can't jump, you can't run, you can't move. Even sex is uncomfortable because you got to worry about them coming all in your face and you not being able to breathe and do what you want to do. So once I did that, I did start losing a lot of weight, and I got fine. And first thing, I gained a And the first thing that Rick said was like, why you losing so much weight? He told me I had got too skinny because I had actually got smaller than this before I had Rashawn. And same thing, who you getting fined for? And I know you finna leave me and you finna cheat and
insecurity
and stuff like that.
I'm not gonna tell you.
Because we was eating buddies, you know what I'm saying? That was just our thing. Like when we since the time we were together, we always went out to eat and we ate. And so now I've changed. I went on this diet. I don't eat all the time. So you feel like you was losing your eating buddy. You know what I'm saying? But then also too, like, what I was gonna add on to you is they were secure. They feel like nobody else wasn't gonna want you.
Yeah.
If I get you.
That, though, it's a lot of men love plus size.
It's
not like your face
popping like
changed,
never
it's still
before. Like back in the day, you could never get a man to admit that they like big women.
No.
But
More
nowadays,
men in my DM before I started losing weight.
Thank
Now
you.
you looking at me like you getting a little too small for me.
yeah, you getting too skinny. Like this one dude said, you borderline big fine. I was like, wait a minute. So what is the difference between big fine and BBW? So there's levels to this.
Yeah,
there's levels to
and
this.
I've learned that. I've learned
So-
that, you know, because it's like a plus, you know.
The plus is extra.
Hey, that plus, hey, you got extra love,
Right.
more pushing for the cushion.
Right.
You know, and then, you know, versus like my husband, he was not, when I met him, he was smaller, way smaller. You know, but
mine is crappy as mouth.
I don't want my husband.
You're gonna push your mic off.
Like I was telling them, you know, earlier, I don't want you to lose weight because I'm thinking that you're gonna be finer. Actually, I prefer you bigger because you look better. However, your health declines as you get bigger,
Right.
and that's what his health is doing. So it's like I don't want you small for me, my vanity. I want you smaller for
Be
your
healthy,
health,
yeah.
because you look better big, but you're healthy, you're small.
Right,
So, you know.
So I appreciate you ladies coming on the show today. Like I said, I do want to bring you guys back when we do talk about that danger zone, because I think that it's definitely
I got
going to be a
some stuff for
spicy
that one.
topic. We have to set up something different, have a little girls' night, and really go into that conversation. You know, y'all are always welcome to come live with us, ladies. I'm always inviting people to come and join the panel and just have some conversation with us. Gentlemen are also invited. We're not biased. We do enjoy the friendly debate of getting a man's perspective on the show. So you guys, I want you to take care this weekend. I know as things are starting to lift up with these COVID restrictions, everybody's getting out. Just make sure that you're still wearing your mask, you're still staying safe, you're still sanitized. And let me see this thing. Still sanitizing and all this stuff. They have them on Amazon. Beauty supply store. See y'all, this is some. Yep. And I saw some too that are actually the glasses. So they're actually a little shorter than this. They're this is actually the mask. But they have some that are the glasses that are like that. They stop right at the nose, so they cover all of up to here.
But they don't cover your mouth.
It's the glasses. It's just the shield. It's just it's sunglasses.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just the sunglasses. She wants the whole thing. Yeah.
Everybody-
I saw those last year when we was in Vegas. That's when they first started wearing them.
I like
Yeah.
this because you
You
can
can
breathe
breathe.
on, you have lipstick on, that's why lipstick.
Yeah, because
they
at church you can't wear nothing no more because they just gonna come off. You know, the mess. But like I was saying, everybody, I hope that you guys have a good week, a great weekend. Like I said, be safe. We will see you guys next week. We do have a couple of lives and shorts we're going to start doing on YouTube, guys. So be sure to follow us on YouTube at Try It with Jazzy Red. Also follow us on Instagram at Try It with Jazzy Red. And of course on Facebook at But Have You Tried It For Yourself. I am your host, Jazzy Red. This is our co-host, Yellow Baby. She ain't even been talking today because maybe she done went to Vegas and left her mind in Vegas. I don't know. But y'all, we gonna be out of here.
Y'all talk about marriage.
So we'll
right?
get out.
That's
That's okay, but you've been in a relationship, so you can't always chime
No,
in.
I would consider it a real relationship. I can honestly say I've never been in a real relationship.
Experiences make up the testimony. It doesn't matter how big or small. If you learn something from it and you gain something from it, then, and you still standing, then you have a story to tell.
Right.
It doesn't matter. That just means that you still picking up pieces to add to your basket before you get to your marriage. So be thankful that you haven't committed yourself to somebody yet and had to go back and say, no, that wasn't it.
Right.
And that you still have that open covenant and you're waiting on the man to find you. Because that's the main thing with marriage is that the man has to find you. You don't go looking for him. So be patient and keep waiting, girl. Just be happy
I've
that
already X'd that out of my life, so we
See.
good on that.
That's when you're gonna run into them in the
Oh,
supermarket.
baby, no.
You sound like my youngest. She's 25. She swears she ain't gonna never
She's
get married.
25. I'm 30 now. That's a difference.
Oh, you.
Yeah.